Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Real Hazardous. And before we get started, make sure that you click that bell for notifications and also find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. So we're down here in the Keys, and we've been doing well on some yellowtail and mangrove snapper. You see, we've been fishing some new spots because the current was real bad in our typical yellowtail spot, around 85 feet of water. So we're in these new spots, and we did really well on some mangroves the day before, and we wanted to dive it, to see what it's like. Kind of learn more, kind of educational, and at the same time, we're gonna bring our spear guns and maybe find some good fish to spear as well. Well, we are here where we were yesterday, catching yellowtail and mangrove. We're gonna dive to the bottom and see what that bottom looked like, see if there's any fish and see what was attracting them. We get to the spot, get anchored in, get all set. Current's still a little, moving a little bit, but nothing too terribly bad. As sometimes happens on the Real Hazardous fishing vessel, we have ourselves a hazardous situation. You see, my brother jumps in the water, but when he does, he realizes that his inflator hose slash second, backup regulator, the cap came off and it's leaking, so he can't inflate his BCD. He's in the water. You can see on the video, he's trying to inflate it and it's not working. So he yells over to me. He's like, "Hey, get over here now." I'm like, "Oh, geez, what's going on?" And my parents were like, "Hey, you need to go to him right now.
You're gonna drown.
Go help him."
So I swim over to him, as fast as I can. I get to him because the current's kind of pushing us back. And I quickly inflate my BCD, get it, fully inflated, overinflated for me, and he grabs on so that we're both floating there, which is good. We do inflate it beforehand, but when you get in the water, that's when all that pressure's against you, and it just pushed all the air that he thought was holding in his BCD. That's why we always dive with a buddy. I was there to back him up. Diving isn't dangerous. It's like anything else in life, like driving. You pay attention, keep your head straight, it's fine. You'll be good. Stuff does happen, but you'll be prepared to handle it, They pick us up, we hop in the boat. He's able to fix it, test it some more. The holding
A lot better than it was.
We're able to hop back in and continue on our dive. We get down there and it's a pretty cool looking area. You see, we dove our yellowtail spot in 85 feet, and this area is similar, but it's not quite as pronounced. The bottom's a little different. See, all around it is sand. We kind of dove and swam around the perimeter to get a feel for it. And then we went back through, kind of the heart of the structure, and it's just a natural live bottom, nothing real big. It's not like, back up in North Florida where there's a lot of artificial wrecks, come up really high, stuff like that. And it's cool to see the mangrove and how they swim kind of around the structure. They're not really stopped at any one spot. They're just kind of traveling back and forth. And you see, that's one thing with mangrove that's different about spearing than other fish. It's not like a flounder that lies on the bottom, you can stick it, or even a grouper or snapper, which are kind of just swimming around, not quite as fast, they're not quite as skittish, and you can kind of stalk them. Well, these mangrove snapper, they're fast fish, and we can't just, chase them down. They'll be out of our range and just take off in no time. So what we found is the best way to get them is to just kind of sit in one spot. We kind of there's like these hills, and we would just kind of sit in the lower part of them and kind of hide ourselves. It's almost like you're hunting deer or duck or something like that. We're staying in one spot and letting the fish come to us.
What the heck?
takes a little bit of getting used to. Again, these are fast fish and they're not huge, so you gotta be accurate, and you also have to let them get in range. A couple times you get excited, you think they're in range and you shoot and they dodge your spear shaft. But we finally did kind of get the hang of it, and we got some good snapper, which was a lot of fun. We get back up to the top of the boat and we decided to do a little fishing. So we put our chum bag out and started letting our lines out. Mangrove snapper, like yellowtail snapper, they'll come up in a bait ball behind your boat. Hadn't been able to get them like that in a couple years, but this year they had done it some. You can tell the difference just because it's like a gray ball as opposed to a golden ball when the yellowtail show up. But you know, they wouldn't always stay there. They'd kind of come and go. Sometimes you wouldn't see them, and I'd just be letting my line way back, just let it keep on going, and boom, you get a fish on. I guess they're way back there in the line, and they just travel up and down it. So don't be afraid to really let your line out. We also made use of live bait, because we had some live bait still, and man, if you can get live bait, I really recommend it, because the fish just love it. It's different, you know, during mini season there are a lot of fishermen down there. These fish have probably seen a lot of little pieces of chum floating their way, so putting that live bait back there can really help. Sometimes it gets the bigger ones too. It's kind of funny, during the trip, our chum bag actually broke loose. Thankfully my brother jumped right into action. He just grabbed his mask, threw it on, and jumped into the water. Swam down and grabbed our chum bag to save the fishing trip. Pretty brave, you know. I mean, you just jumped in the water full of chum, swam up to the chum, you're dragging the chum back with you. I mean, that's like a recipe for a shark attack, right? In fact, the current was actually still pretty strong, and he didn't have time to put his fins on, so he couldn't really swim against it. So we had to toss him a rope and pull him back. But shout out to Christopher for saving the chum bag and allowing us to fish on.
Hey, he just left in the water.
Shake the bag when you come up.
What was going through your mind? I mean, you just grabbed your mask and left in the water with no fins or nothing.
Apparently we're really serious about our chum.
Had to throw a rope because he didn't have fins, so he couldn't make it back to the boat.
Keep a lookout for that bottom in your depth recorder. It'll be like just a little bit bigger red. You know, it's not a huge jump like an artificial wreck. And also, if it's a really clear day, you can actually see it from the boat. You'll see bright blue water, which is actually the sand, the light hitting the sand and bouncing up. And then you'll see like dark spots, and those dark spots are the live bottom. So keep a lookout, like literally, and then watch your depth recorder. But if you guys have any more questions, please comment below and we'll try to help you out the best we can. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned some stuff. Stay safe while you're diving, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.